Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome to the League of Waders YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to two-stick. Super simple method for getting up in a tree with a tree saddle, and it's pretty self-explanatory. How you do it is in the name. I figured I'd just break this video up into a couple different parts. First thing is just going to be what you need, how to actually pick a tree, how to get up the tree, a bunch of helpful tips that I think you should need to know. The first thing that I'm going to be showing you is just literally what you're going to need. First thing you're going to need, just a tree saddle. All you need for that setup is literally your tree saddle and whatever you need to get up the tree. Now, if you are curious about my saddle and how I set it up and how I rig it up and everything, I'll leave a little button up here that you can click. Go check that video out. If you're new to saddle hunting, this is a very cheap, good value, safe method for getting up in a tree saddle at a pretty good price. So check that out and then come back and watch this video. All you're gonna need, hunting saddle, your hunting saddle setup, and your climbing sticks. So for my climbing sticks, these are the River's Edge climbing sticks. They are by no means anything fancy. They are just good value climbing sticks that just get the job done. They're a little heavy, they're a little clunky. The third piece of gear you're gonna need is an aider. The second thing you're going to need to do is you're going to actually have to get in the woods and pick a tree. There's a couple things that I think about when I go to pick a tree. First, obviously, is just thinking of the wind, thinking, okay, how much cover does the tree have? Am I going to be skylined? Like, for instance, the tree that I have behind me, there's no tree branches in it, nothing to conceal my body profile, right? So this necessarily wouldn't be like the best tree to set up in. Obviously, you're going to want something that has a bunch of leaves behind you, maybe some other trees, something to camouflage your presence, and that you're not sticking out like a sore thumb. So let's say you find a couple of suitable trees that could fit the bill. What are you going to think of next? It's easier to climb a smaller tree, but it's better to climb a bigger tree. If you can get a bigger tree, something like the one I have behind me, right? What's going to happen is in a bigger tree, and if you're doing a long sit, you're going to want a bigger tree. The reason a bigger tree is way more comfortable is once you are set up in a tree, you are going to be pinned up against the tree, and your knees are going to be up against that tree for hours. And if you have a small tree where you can only get one knee on there, you're going to be switching back and forth between your knees all day. With a bigger tree, you can get both your knees up against it, and it's going to be a lot more comfortable. So definitely keep that in mind. And the third thing that I like to keep in mind when I'm picking my tree is the way that tree pitches. If you look at this tree right behind me, right? This tree is going up at an angle that way. Now, for me personally, I find it more comfortable to be on the back end of an angle. For me, if this tree has a slight lean this way, I'm going to set up on this side, ideally if my shooting lanes and all that stuff is correct, because you are going to be more so floating in your saddle. If I set up on the side of the tree that is leaning into the tree, that's just more of your body weight that is not on the saddle and more of your body weight that's on your knees pressed up against the tree. Alrighty, so now what I'm going to be doing is actually moving on to climbing the tree. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually just get my climbing sticks in place. Gonna start off by reaching as high up the tree as I can with that first stick. Now you're going to see here, get it all the way up. I'm on my tippy toes as high as I possibly can. The higher you get the back of the rope, the higher your stick is going to sit in the tree. Now watch here. I tightened it up, right? But look, right there, that rope was not on all the way. If you do that and you go to put body weight on these types of sticks, that stick is going to fall off the tree and you're going to be falling out of the tree. Now I go to my side pouch, I grab my aider. This is a 5-step aider. Then I go to the side and I'm going to attach my second climbing stick to my harness. That way, as I climb, my stick will move up with me. I go back to my other side pouch, going to grab the bow rope, where if I was hunting I would attach my bow to, and I'm going to attach my lineman's rope to my tree saddle. So I'm going to move that prusik knot down and do a figure 8 knot to get that rope attached to my saddle. Now you'll see I'll leave a nice little tab there. That way, if it, in case it ever did slip, which it never has, it would then be able to tighten up a little more on the rope. Now, tip for when you're using the aider, get that rope on the back of your heel at the bottom, because as you climb the tree, your rope is going to slide closer and closer to your foot, and it's going to be harder to get your foot in. And now I'm moving my lineman's rope up the tree with me as I'm climbing. And you can see now that that stick is moving up with me as I'm climbing. That way I don't have to climb back down, grab it, and then climb back up. Now, I'm going to tighten my lineman's rope with my prusik knot, but you're going to tilt your hips forward as you're pulling that line back, which makes it really easy to tighten up. So I'm going to lift up that second stick, untie it from my harness, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the first stick. Just try and reach up as high as possible, get every inch of height I can from the ground. Doing the same thing, checking to make sure that that is on there snugly, giving it a good pull down. That's snug. Now what I'm going to do is start walking back down, and I'm going to go and grab my aider. Now there's 3, 5, 8-step aiders. This one's a 5-step aider, and I really like this one because it has that neon green fluorescent color that makes it really easy to see, because I don't really like using a headlamp getting into the woods. So it makes it really easy to see while I'm climbing. But same thing, because you can see, right there, see how my toe gets kind of caught up in the tree? That's why I say get that bottom step of your aider on the back of your heel. That way it makes it easy for you to get up. And another tip for using the aider, dig your toe into the tree. It's gonna help keep you stable. Same thing, put my hips forward, and now I'm up there. All that would be next, take my lineman's rope, put that eye level around the tree, and we're hunting, ready to go. So that's basically all you need to know for getting up when you're two-sticking. I brought a tape measure with me, so I'll get you an exact on how high I get up in just a second from my feet. 2 steps in an aider, get good and high off the ground. I love doing it this way. Just the 2 steps makes it so much easier when just less weight to carry, less setting up. I'm gonna just give you a couple tips. First tip, trust your gear. Don't be afraid to lean into your ropes when you're climbing. If you saw, I was able to grab hold of my rope and actually tilt my pelvis forward to move my lineman's rope closer to the tree. That definitely makes it easier getting up. Another thing that you'd want to do, while you're setting your first step, you can use your second step, if you're really going for extra height, put it at the base of the tree to get that first step even higher. You can get maybe a good extra, 1.5 to 2 feet off the ground just by using your first step. Literally, it's kind of like a stepping stool. We got up and down the tree, no problem. We just want to do a little pro and con session. Starting off with the pros of two-sticking. It's just a very affordable way to get up and down the tree. You can get 2 sticks in an aider for like 90 bucks, probably a little bit less, to be honest, if you find a good deal. The next pro of two-sticking is that it's just easy to get up and down the tree. You need your 2 steps in an aider. When I think of one sticking or setting up 3 or 4 sticks, that is a longer process. You got to attach more things, take down more things, need more gear. Things can get complicated. It's just simple with the 2 steps. I could be up in my tree from ground level all the way up in less than 3 minutes if I'm moving and being quiet. Another thing is mobility. If you have, let's say, just the 2 sticks, right? You could toss those on your backpack and walk around the woods, no problem. Not going to get hung up on a lot of branches. Going to be able to walk pretty good distance. I've done sits where I've walked at least 2 miles just to get back into where I want to go. Now, kind of teeter-tottering off of that last pro is going to be my first con. Yes, it is mobile and it is light, but it's technically not the lightest setup out there. I mean, you can find, let's say, one sticking methods that, you could shed a couple extra pounds. Personally, I am not worried about shedding that much weight, and I don't mind carrying around a little extra weight to have the 2 sticks and just the simplicity of doing the 2-stick method. To me, when I'm thinking about it, that's why I like the 2-stick method, because it's just less gear, less things you need than the 1-sticking method. The next con that I wanted to talk about is going to be just the limitations of the 2-sticking method. With the 1-sticking method, right, you're not limited with height. You can go as high as you want. With 2-sticking, you are limited in how high you can go. That's why I gave you the tip on using your second step to get your first step higher up the tree, to get you a couple more feet off the ground. Now, I am a taller person. I'm like 6'1". I can get my sticks really, really far apart from each other. I mean, you could see from that video that first stick was at least 8 feet off the ground from where my hand was up in the air. Those are all the pros and cons I got for you. At the end of the day, you're going to have to do the setup that works best for you, what fits your needs. For me, I've been hunting with this setup for the past 2 years, and it's worked great for me. Have had no issues with it, and I really like it. So you just got to do what works for you. Do your research, look around, find out what's going to be best for your situation. Do me a favor, if you like the video, please leave a like, leave a comment, do all that good stuff. I got a ton of hunting and fishing videos on my channel, so do me a solid, go back, check those out, look around. If you like it, hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, if not, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.